Vanda here of Raw and Well. Today I have a special melon I want to show you, and this is an orange dew, and so it is a hybrid of muskmelon and honeydew melon. So most honeydews are white like this with a smooth skin on the outside, and on the inside they have a pale green. The meat of the melon is pale green. Sometimes it varies and it's like a yellowish, etc., depending again on the variety. And I wish you guys had smell-o-vision here, because man, is this wafting at me while I speak to you. So with that, the smooth skin makes it much easier to wash, and that's something I wanted to address with melons. I don't think I've ever talked about that, but you really want to thoroughly wash your melons before you even put a knife to it. And the reason for that is these melons come in a case, right? And the case gets put to the side when it gets delivered, and at the supermarket there's gonna be meat products and other things that might drip and dribble on it, and people, while it's out on the floor in the supermarket, you know, people spit on it as they're talking, etc. Breathe, whatever, right? So this melon is not clean. You need to wash it before you eat it, before you even put a knife to it. Because what happens is when you put a knife through this, as you make contact with the skin, you're now putting whatever was on the outside is going through the inside, and you're going to be eating it. So how do I do that? I just put this baby in the sink. If I have more than one, then I fill my sink up with water. I put about a cup of apple cider vinegar with the mother in it, and maybe a couple of tablespoons of baking soda. But if I'm just washing the melon, what I do is I fully spray it, and I have a bottle here. It says fruit and veggie clean, but I bought it once, and this bottle literally is like 5 years old. Every once in a while I take it apart and I wash it really good, run water through it. It needs that done right now. I'm seeing a little bit of brown because it collects the mother through the sprayer, so you want to keep that clean, otherwise it will break down on you. But you could buy a spray bottle anywhere and you'll be fine. All right, and like I said, I put apple cider vinegar. I always have this next to my soap, and I make sure I spray this thoroughly. Then I let it sit for like a good 15-20 minutes. And then I take a little brush, or just a brand new, have a veggie brush here, right? And this is kind of cool because you attach it to your hand. It's got a little thing where you put your finger through it. And I scrub the melon with the apple cider vinegar, and then I do the same thing underwater and I rinse it super good, right? So this is a veggie brush. If you don't have one of those, then use a clean, have a special one that you just use for your veggies and your fruits, and you just would do the same thing. You would rub this really good, and now the skin is nice and clean. Now, this is a smooth skin melon, where, for example, the other kinds of melons, even a musk melon, is gonna have a porous skin, and it's got little bumps and dents in it, etc. And what happens is that skin is gonna absorb more and things could get in those crevices. This is much easier to clean. So the other one, you wanna make sure you really get in there with that brush. This one, not so important because it's the smooth skin, so it can't seep in there, right? Okay, so washing your melons before you even cut through them. All right, so I got this fragrant orange dew melon here. Let's see what it looks like inside. This is my first time trying this variety, and that's why I figured I'd do a video. This is not organic. It was grown in California, and it is non-GMO. Okay, so non-GMO, which is a good thing. I'm gonna do a whole big video on the PLUs on the fruit, right? So this one starts with a 4, which means it's conventional, right? All right, so let's see what happens. When I'm gonna eat a melon, right, for like to just cut it in half and eat it, I cut the ends off. That's the first thing I do. And you don't have to get in there too deep. It's just to give it a place where it's stable, right? Because if you put it on here, it starts rolling around. So that makes it safe for one, right? So I cut both ends off usually, and look at that color. It's orange. It looks like a regular cantaloupe, but it's not. Okay, so, man, that smell is amazing. So once you cut the ends off, you have an option. You could stand it this way, you could peel the whole thing off and cut it into cubes. I don't bother with that, right? So since I cut the ends off, what I'm gonna do is cut it in half this way, right? This way. But you could cut it this way as well, right? And you have a half a melon on either side, right? And it's much easier to do it this way because it's stable, because you put it on that nice end. I cut the ends off so it's also stable when I put it on the plate. Tricky, tricky, I know. Okay, and then I just take the knife, nice sharp knife. You always make sure you start off with a nice sharp knife. And as soon as you're done using it, always put it in front of you with the blade away from you. So when you go to grab it next time, the handle's right there ready to go, and you're not gonna be distracted and pick it up the wrong way, right? Now, you got a nice nature, sacred geometry going on in here, right? And that's the seeds of this melon, right? So what you want to do is with a spoon is super easy. You just want to loosen them from the sides. You don't have to get in there deep. And the whole thing, look, comes out all at once, clean, with a spoon. And that's easy to just get rid of, or if you want to propagate this and see if it will give you melons, you could do that as well. That's a video for another day. So, and then look at this, voila. There's no moving around on this plate. It's nice and stable and ready to serve. So let me show you that again. You're gonna go to close to that flesh of the melon, loosen, do the same thing on all 3 sides. Loosen, 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 and twist on the bottom, and look at that. Voila! Aha! Check that out. All right. So, that is the melon. I'm gonna grab my spoon over here so I could taste it in front of you. This one's for Louie, the cameraman. Always gets a meal, right? And then, I always smell everything first because I wouldn't enjoy that fragrance and engage the alkaline enzymes in my mouth to start releasing. That's why you see something, it looks good, it smells good, and your your mouth starts salivating. That's the enzymes in your mouth that starts the digestion process. But I say digestion starts with the eyes. All right, so here we go. Oh, wow. Okay, so it has the same texture as honeydew, so it's nice and firm, even though it's super ripe, because as they get yellow on the outside, they're usually white flesh. As this color starts changing, that lets you know that that melon is a little bit more ready than others, right? So one thing I don't like about cantaloupe is that it leaves an aftertaste in my mouth. This one's not doing that, even though the color of the flesh is the same as a cantaloupe. It's not in that family at all. It's honeydew and muskmelon. All right, so what else do I notice here? I've talked about the texture, which is amazing. It's nice and firm, super watery. I taste honey in there. I don't get a hint of orange at all, but I don't think that's why they call it an orange dew. I think they call it an orange dew because the color of the flesh is orange. But it tastes just like a honeydew. A little sweeter than most, but that's because this is really ripe and like the perfect melon you could ask for. So I'm enjoying it. I don't eat non-organic produce for the most part, but when I see something different, I let that go. I clear my mind and I kind of like don't think about the chemicals and all that other stuff, right? And I enjoy that at least once, right? But some people don't have the budget in them to eat organic only, right? So what I say is, no matter what, any fruit is better than no fruit at all. With that, I hope you'll try an orange dew in your near future. If you find it in the supermarket, I definitely encourage you to try it out because I love it. Amazing. And I tasted here first in front of you. So I'm gonna go and enjoy this. Much love to you. Bye for now.